And thank you for the opportunity to present on this, I would say, emerging topic because the SBA PPP, the payroll, it used to be payroll protection plan, and then they changed it to paycheck protection plan because it was confusing some of the sole proprietors that they could or that they were eligible or not. So want to dig into why your business needs to be applying for this and how to go ahead and apply for it. This is, I believe, I've been sending out emails and daily updates to my clients and tenants on the different programs. Honestly, a lot of that information's come from the Peoria Area Chamber. So it's great to be a member of these different types of associations, especially during this time, to get this information, especially content like this that walks you through the process and the time frame that you needed. So right now, the SBA PPP is currently closed for applications, but they are now having a vote in the House, and then the president will sign it, and it's scheduled to either be done today or tomorrow. So applications are going to start opening again pretty soon, again, pending all those signatures. And what we're seeing right now is banks are starting to take applications again to get them approved internally with the bank and then be ready to submit as soon as they open. So if the applications open Friday at 5 p.m., I know some of the bankers are going to be staying after hours and working weekends to get those submitted like they did the first time. So definitely want to make sure you know that even though it says applications are no longer being accepted, they are. And so you want to be prepared and you want to start to get your application into your bank. So going into the content of today is, what is the SBA PPP? How do I apply, and why should I apply for my business? So the SBA Payroll Protection Plan is the loan that's designed to provide direct incentive to the small businesses to keep their employees on the payroll. And really, the federal government use the local banks through the SBA, use the local banks to get the money out to the businesses faster. So the SBA also has another program called the EIDL, the Emergency Injury Disaster Loan, and that actually is weeks and weeks of a process of approval and then funding. This is something where you can get approved within 24 hours and you can have the money in your bank account within 10 days, which is part of the restrictions of the program. So the SBA will provide forgivable loans. And this is why this program is so popular with businesses. Especially right now, there's a lot of small businesses that don't want to take on additional debt because they don't know what the next 3 to 6 months are going to look like. With the SBA PPP, all of the loan is eligible to be forgiven if you use it towards these qualified forgivable expenses. And we'll go into what those are and how to figure that out. So the SBA will give forgivable loans if you use the money for payroll, and you'll see on the slide it says 75% in parentheses. The final rule that came out from the IRS was that of the funds that are given for the PPP, 75% of those funds have to be used for payroll in order for that to be forgiven. So I want to definitely make sure we look at that number. You can also use it for rent or mortgage, depending on if you own or if you lease your building. Interest on any debt for your business, and then utilities, so your water, your electrical bills. And you apply through the existing SBA lenders. So you don't apply through the SBA website like you do with the EIDL. You go to your local bank. So first and foremost, you want to contact your bank to see if they are submitting for the SBA PPP program and if they're taking applications now. And so those are really the two things to get done immediately before you start working on a lot of the applications. If they are not, there is a link on the websites that have the preferred providers. You can reach out to the chamber, you can reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to connect you with an approved lender. So who can apply? And this is the one I definitely want to stress. Almost everybody. So they've really made this a big blanket, and you're seeing some emails and some press releases, on certain companies that got it that aren't qualified as a small business. Here's literally from the SBA website who can qualify. So small businesses that meet the SBA size standards, and that at a 30-foot view is less than 500 employees. They also expanded it to any 501c3 nonprofit, 501c19, which is a veterans, any tribal business concern, and then that have 500 employees or that meets the industry standard if there's more than 500. And usually that gets further defined as not more than 500 in one location, which is a small detail that some people thought they didn't qualify, but as they further refined it, they do. So I think you're gonna see a lot more businesses apply in this second round once it gets open, which is why I really, really wanna stress to you, get your application done, get it submitted to the bank so you are in their queue when these applications open, you're ready to go, because I really believe that this funding is gonna go a lot faster than the first, because now there's further definition and clarification on this. Also, any business with an ASCII code that begins with 72, so that is an accommodations and food services, that have more than one physical location and less than 500 per that location. So that really broadens the expansion of who can apply. The last one is the one I think there's so much confusion around this program. Sole proprietors, independent contractors, and self-employed persons do qualify. I have been on the phone with a lot of our salons and working with their hairstylists to file. They have to file on their own. The salon can't, but like the hairstylist individually can file on their own and qualify. Nail technicians, real estate agents, independent sales contractors, really want to drive home that those people are eligible to apply for this program. So let's go into how do you prepare and get the information for the application that you need. So you need to gather, first and foremost, the salaries, payroll taxes, your company contributions. A lot of these can be found on your IRS Form 940 or your IRS Form 941. So if you have those from 2019, just get that form. That's pretty much all you'll need for the application at this point in time. You'll also want to know the average number of employees from 2019, February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019. And that range, just to know the average number of employees that you had for your payroll periods. You do not need that right now to apply. So if that's something that's going to take a lot of time to find out, don't worry about getting that for your application. The number of employees by week for that, for the period of February 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2020. Now I know June 30th in advance, but this is the number and the time period you're going to need to track to make sure that these expenses are forgiven and that you're eligible for that forgiveness. So that's why we want to put that on there. And then I do have a note down there that says your financial institution may require different timeframes. So we're seeing some banks are using different timeframes to be broader, to capture wider timeframe. These are in, I would say in a nutshell of what we're seeing a majority of the financial institutions ask for. Another couple of documents that you may need if you do not have a relationship with a current bank that is eligible. So say you have a bank that you have a great relationship with, but they are not an eligible lender and you need to go to another bank, you're gonna need to provide your articles of incorporation, you're gonna need to provide your bylaws, your driver's license, social security numbers, basic information that the business, the bank will know about your business. So just a heads up, if you do have to juggle, to have those documents ready. Some of them may ask, I know one bank that we've been sending a lot of our clients to is for their mother's maiden name, and that's for how the bank processes their account. So there may be some unique factors of information in there that are very similar to that. Again, you'll see the payroll expense verification documents. The simplest one to do is the IRS Form 940 and 941. This pretty much gives you a broad overview of all the information you're going to need to fill out the forms in the application and to give the banks comfort in knowing what your payroll expenses were in 2019 to make sure you're eligible for the maximum loan amount and for forgiveness. And that's what the banks are really looking when they do their internal process before they submit to the SBA. So I'm not going to run down the whole list here, but these are also items that I would definitely get in to I call it your folder for your application, and make sure that you have it, because if you need any proof of funds, if you need any proof of employment, these are the documents I would stress to go after, especially if you're a sole prop. It may be a 1099 or a 1099-S. If you are a sole prop that did not do a 1099 and you're looking at owner distributions, that's a big question we get a lot of time is, well, I didn't give myself a 1099, or I do it a little bit different, or each situation is unique when you start talking about sole proprietors. So what you need to do in a nutshell on that side of the application process is look at your revenues that you've brought in 2019 and make sure you can show that in a very concise and precise method. So each bank will handle that differently. And I tried to get more of a summary from each of the banks, and they said it's really a case-by-case basis. So key there is to start the conversation with the financial institution at that point. So how do I apply for the SBA PPP? I'm gonna definitely recommend you save any information that you apply for the program into one folder on your computer. And even if this is copying some of your company documents from other folders and you already have them in another place, copy everything into one folder. It's gonna make it simple for application period. It's gonna make it simple for the qualified reimbursable expense period, and also for your taxes at the end of the year. So we're also going to share with you our input spreadsheet, and we have it available for free to download on our website. And I'll click through, and here's the link where you can download it. I'll see if we can attach it with the slides, or put it up with the slides for this or the recording. But what we did on the Kim Group side is, for our clients and our tenants, we realize a lot of times when these government programs come out, sometimes it's in Greek to our business owners, and they are trying to figure out, one, how to keep their business afloat. And there's a lot of stress, and sometimes just walking them through the process and showing them, put this number here, put this number here, really makes it easier for them. So we went ahead and did that, and we're going to share that with you, and we're going to walk through it here pretty quick. But basically, the application itself takes 15 to 20 minutes. So this webinar is longer than it's going to take you to fill out these forms. So I want to stress that it's not a complex process on that side. And confirm that you're going to be able to have 100% of it forgiven, or as much as possible. If you don't get 100% of the loan forgiven, the rate is 1% for 2 years. And so we're going to, again, walk you through, if you don't get that amount forgiven, what would that cost to your business be, so you understand that. And so I'm going to drag over the Excel spreadsheet that we have right now, and hopefully you guys can see this on your screen. And the first thing you're gonna see is a disclaimer. And we put the disclaimer in there because there were so many changes at the first when we did this, because we put this together about a week or two before the first applications opened up, and we revised it with the final rule from the IRS. But there were so many changes happening, and even up until the start of the application process in the first round, the form changed within the last 9 hours. So we want to make a disclosure that as of this date and time, this is, to our best knowledge, the information that you're going to need. And so we did update that. So you'll see in our spreadsheet here, anything in orange denotes a criteria that has further questions and further details for clarification on. Okay, so you'll see the yellow is the input cell. That's really what you want to focus on. This is the area where you'd input information into. And the lighter color is more of an adjusted cell. So if you received our first spreadsheet, these are the cells that are a little bit different from that first spreadsheet that we sent out prior to the opening of the first application. So what we did is came down here and put the loan calculator. So you will go here and easily put in, say you had $250,000 in gross salaries. Say you only do IRA for a couple people, and maybe it's $5,000, and then we're going to leave the owner distribution and fees out for right now. If you don't have salaries and you're independent or a sole prop and you want to come down and put your information in these, that's fine as well. And then you will have to exclude the payroll taxes for the employer. Okay, so what that means is that the SBA did come out with some questions as to if I have a person that I give $4,000, say, in payroll to, but yet their employee taxes are $500. So the employee would receive $3,500. You are still eligible as the business to count that payroll as the $4,000. And then you would not be eligible to add in the costs that you as an employer pay for those taxes. So I hope that's clear, because this is where if your gross salary up above includes the employer taxes, you will need to take it out. If it doesn't, then you won't. So say on that you had $25,000 for your payroll taxes on your employer side, you'd put it here. When you come down to qualifying cost, that just simply adds those adds and subtracts that, the excluded costs, sorry, and then you divide it by 12 to get the total average monthly payroll cost. And then you're going to times that by 2.5. Now this is the formula that they've created to define your maximum loan amount. And so I'm going to drag another form over here real quick as we go through this. This is the application for the SBA PPP. So if you look here, it is 4 pages in length, but really there's only 2 pages for you to fill out. And then the rest of the 2 pages are explanations about the form and where to go for data. So as you see, it's a 2-page form. And what you'll come over here do is check one of the boxes for your organization. So if you're a sole prop or an S Corp or C Corp, come here, check the box, type in your legal business name. If you have any trade names or a DBA, your business address goes here, tax number, or again, if you're a sole prop, your social security number. You have the business phone here, your primary contact, and the email address. That's basic information. We all should know that pretty quick, right? And then you have your average monthly payroll. So you come over to the spreadsheet and you take this number right here and you would just start typing it in. And now, because I have this zoomed out, it's actually showing a lot bigger, but when you print out the form, it'll squeeze into the box. And then you'll see it says by times 2.5. And then you have, again, the net advancement equals the loan request. So you can come down here and put 58,333 into that box, and then you'll see the number of employees. The number of employees is the number you have at the time that you apply. So it's not the number of employees back in 2019, it's the number you have when you actually apply. Then you click the boxes of what you're going to use the loan for. And so you have, you can check all of them, check some of them. Come in here, enter the ownership's name, title, percentage of ownership, and then the social security number for that owner. If there's an ownership entity that has more than 20% ownership in your business, you would put the entity there and put their tax ID number in that box, and then their address. If you need an additional sheet, obviously basically make the same table and put an additional sheet on there. So then you need to go through and look at these questions of, is the applicant or any owner of the applicant presently suspended, debarred, proposed? Most of these questions are going to be the same questions you're going to see on any government application form. So are you current on child support? Do you have any pending litigation? Those types of questions. So you should be able to go quickly through those. One of the things I want to point out is question 5 and 6 here. You'll see that there are boxes here and here that say initial here to confirm your response. So you do need to check the box and then you need to initial it. The bank will send this form back if you do not have those 2 boxes initialed. So make sure you do not miss that. And then again, keep going down, and then you have to read the certifications and the authorizations that it's going through. So you'll see that they'll all be used for business purposes and that the applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity. come down to the certifications, initial each one of those if it's applicable, and then sign the bottom of the form. So as you see, that whole process really took 10, 15 minutes. Then you would sign the form, send it to your banker. I also include the loan calculator spreadsheet with mine, as well as your Form 940 or 941 or any backup data that shows your revenue. They may come and ask for additional information, but this is all they need for the application to get everything started and to start the process. So again, it's really easy and quick to submit. Okay, and so I'm gonna drag this off over the side, and I'm gonna show you a couple other features that we put in our spreadsheet. So if you come up here and click the plus button, what we did is we did a forgiveness calculator, and this actually just pops to the side over here. So this you can start to qualify and say, okay, it's great that I got $58,000, but how much of it is gonna be forgiven? And so you can come over here, again, we're inputting only in the yellow fields. So you can come over here and say, okay, well, weekly I have about $5,500 in salary, and then I'm probably gonna have maybe $1,500 of contributions, and you start filling this form out. Say maybe your rent is $2,000 a month, and you'll see we have months in a year divided by the weeks, and then it gets you down to the 8-week. So what their forgiveness period is an 8-week period from the point that you get your loan approved. And so we wanna make sure that you're gonna be able to have enough expenses to qualify for that. So then say maybe for your monthly costs, your electricity is 150 bucks, your gas is maybe 50, maybe you have 35 for water, transportation, you maybe don't have, maybe your cell phones are about $500, maybe your internet's 150. And I'm just high level putting some cost in here. So you'll see those auto populate over into here, the forgiveness calculator. So your total eligible forgivable expenses is $61,000. And then we added this section here, that's the percentage of your total eligible expenses from payroll. Because again, if you remember back on that slide, we have a 75% in parentheses. So what we did with our tracker is added that so you could say, okay, maybe I have more eligible expenses, but I have to make sure I have that 75%. So we may not count all of them. So again, it lets you judge as to what expenses you want to qualify for. So this will give you some comfort in knowing, okay, I get a $58,000 loan. I have $61,000 in forgivable expenses. I'm within that 75%. I'm good to go to set up for 100% forgiveness. So say something happens and you're not able to get that, there are 2 other ways that they outline to make those costs forgivable, which if you hit the plus on the sidebar here, you expand this area. And these options, these option 1 and option 2 that are outlined in the program of different ways to calculate forgiveness, as you can see, a lot of it's orange. There's still a lot of unknowns about, I wouldn't say unknowns, lack of clarification about how those are going to be defined and calculated. So we've kept them in orange. The one part I want to definitely make sure we draw your attention to is over here. So the interest rate went from a 4% over 10 years to a 1% over 2 years. And that 2 years starts, it doesn't start right away. It starts as a 6-month delayment or delay of your loan. So you get the time to incur the forgivable expenses, and then you still have a bunch of breathing room in there to then start paying that loan back. Some people have told me that their bank has said, we're not gonna start payments until January 1st. So I would confirm that with your bank in regards to when they're gonna start it. I know that there is a delayed time frame, and some banks may choose to go a little bit further, but just clarify that with your bank. What we did here is if you can't get any of it forgiven, we've brought that loan amount down. You see the interest rate of 1%. You see the loan term of 2 years, making monthly payments. That would be a $2,400 monthly payment. Now, I'm going to break our spreadsheet real quick just to show you something. But if you say got everything forgiven except for $10,000, you would have a $420 minimum monthly payment for 2 years. So it's still a really good rate. And again, it gives you money into your business right now for your employees. So a couple things as we are going through here that I forgot to mention is the employees over 100,000. There's a separate tab here. And as you can see, this cell is not highlighted yellow. So it's something that's a formula. So you can come onto this third tab, enter your employees that are over $100,000. And what it does is it subtracts that off. So say you had, you had an employee that was over $100,000 and you would have to subtract that. We would, and when you get the spreadsheet, it's already there, but we kind of broke it for this presentation. You'll see that now that comes out. And so you'd have here your cost balance out, but say you had a negative 25,000, your loan amount would go down to 47,000. So hopefully that is clear. We tried to make it simple for you just to put your employees down here that are over. You'll see that there's also a tab here for the average number of employees. This is a great way to track your number of employees. Most financial institutions, once you're approved, are giving you a spreadsheet to track your expenses on how they want to see it. This was done ahead of all that coming into play. And so we want to make sure that you're able to not only know how much you're going to get, know how much you're going to get forgiven, and also be able to track so that you are prepared to show all the documentation so you can get all your forgivable expenses. So we'll put that off to the side for a minute here. Go back to the PowerPoint here. And so that's pretty much how you apply. So you can see that application process took less than 15 minutes to get that all done. And then really want to stress why you need to apply for the SBA. I've had a lot of our clients say, well, you know, we've had a great year, we have a good reserve. Some of those businesses are still unknown about when they're going to be able to open up. They're still unknown about when they're going to be at full capacity or, you know, back to your normal, which is going to be a whole new level of normal. And I think we all know that. So really talk about the ripple effect that this is going to have on your business and on your community as well. So the unknown is the first and foremost. We don't know the time frame for the shutdown. I know as we're doing this presentation, our governor is giving a presentation or giving a speech on the different time frames and hopefully talking about the expansion of the stay-at-home order, which may go into the to the end of May or maybe mid-May. So that's when we would be, how our stay-at-home order would be extended to potentially. But then also when we start opening back up the economy, as we've heard a lot of people talk about that in different phases, what does that look like? When is your business going to be able to get back to that? And not knowing that, what we're telling our clients is to estimate with their budget 6 months of, you know, 20 to 30% of your sales from the prior year, just to have that worst case scenario put in play. So you may not need the funds right now, but you may need the funds in 3 to 6 months, and they're not going to be available for you to apply at that time unless there's another program extended. So take the time now to, what I'm saying, take the time now to fight for your business, keep it financially viable for this time frame, and be able to launch coming out of it. So preparing for that unknown. Again, okay for now to 6 months, but maybe not later. Look at this as a security blanket for your business. The other thing is that also enables you to have breathing room for your business and also to think strategically. We all know as business owners that you make different decisions when you're under stress or when your checking account gets really, really small versus when you have a nice security blanket of funds in your bank account and you're not stressed. It allows you to start thinking creatively and strategically. And that's really what you need to be doing for your business, because as business owners, we always think about, like, what do we sell? How do we sell it? And who do we sell it to? And so right now, that how do I sell my products is pretty much being shaken up. It's being juggled. We have restaurants that are doing curbside only. Maybe some of them had to get online services really quick, figuring those things out. And as we open up the economy, that's going to shift as well. So having this security net, having these funds to enable you to have a lifeline for your business is very critical during this time frame. And again, it's 15 minutes to fight for your business. So also wanted to talk about preparing and planning for the future. So again, the why of making sure you're financially viable. Some of the programs that are also available, the SBA EIDL is being talked about being open up for applications again. If and when, hopefully that happens, there's additional financial information you're going to need. So I'm stressing and urging all businesses to prepare these financial documents so you're ready. Your 2019 financials, your personal financial statement, finalizing your financials as best as you can to date, and then gathering your last 3 years of financials. As you see, these are pretty much the documents you need to apply for a loan. And that's exactly what the SBA or any other entity is going to be looking for during this time frame. And then also plan. So create a 12-month budget and create the worst case, create a medium case. And then if you want, you can keep your budget that you had from 2019 for 2020 and go off that and kind of see how it varies. So also review any unnecessary expenses that you have right now. Talk with your banks if you have any loans, see if there's anything they can do to help you. Deferment, adjustment. A lot of banks are willing to work with business owners and building owners right now. And then start filling out forms as soon as they come available. They need, a lot of the programs you can apply, and if you get accepted, you have 3 to 6 months to choose if you want to move forward with it. And so if you don't apply, you can't be in the queue and you can't have the opportunity. So definitely make sure you're setting yourself and your business up for success. And final is the disclosure, as you saw with the spreadsheet, is that these programs are changing. I want to say by the hour, by the day, there's new programs coming out. There's more clarification. So what I tell you today may be different next week. It may be different tomorrow, but it gives you that high level overview of the information you need to move forward. And that's what you need to do for your business right now, is get yourself this financial security blanket, if you will, for your business and fight for your stability of your small business. So thank you very much for paying attention and for following along. And hopefully we went slow enough that you could follow. If not, I know that we're going to have this recorded and saved up to some websites. We also have one on our YouTube page as well that you can follow along, pause the video, fill out the applications. But I really wanted to show you how simple and easy it is. And again, how many people are eligible to apply that do not think they are. So if you're seeing this and you know a small business that has not applied, please share it with them. Please, please, please. I've been telling everybody I want every business in our community to apply for this because we need to make sure we have a strong community. And I greatly appreciate the Chamber giving me the opportunity to share this knowledge with you all, and appreciate your time.
Thank you, Katie. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself now.
Means we got all of them.
I think we did. Well, thank you very much. As you stated, we will put this on the Peoria Chamber's website today, and it will be on our daily COVID-19 email updates as well. So if you have any questions, we'll definitely have Katie's contact information. You can reach out to her, and she can help you navigate, as well as help you understand when you could ask your banker.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.